Hey everyone, I'm Heather Catone of Bluebird Barre and Wellness. So glad you're here. It is Workout Wednesday, and as promised, I want to give you a free online bar class today. So feel free to just do the warm-up. I would encourage you to maybe try to do the warm-up in the morning before you get ready for work to get your day started on the right foot, or do the whole workout when you have time and just schedule it into your day. So it's going to be about 45 minutes long from start to finish, and it will include some floor work. So if you have a mat, you're welcome to use it. I'm not going to use one today. I have a towel here that I can use underneath my knees and also to support my low back when we do some of the floor work. I have my water here, and I have a timer just to keep me on track. But other than that, you don't need any other equipment. You can see that I have a chair here, so I want to model for you what it would be like to do some of the exercises using a traditional ballet bar. But please know that you don't need to have a bar in the classroom or in your home to do bar. So bar is a fusion of yoga, Pilates, and strength training that dancers do. And one of my goals in presenting these classes to you online is so that if you've never taken a bar class before, but you'd like to, and maybe you're a little nervous and uncomfortable about going into a studio, especially maybe a boutique bar studio, you're worried that you might not fit in, I'm going to help you to learn the terminology and the movements and the form so that you can be confident going into your local studio and taking more bar classes. Every bar class, every bar instructor may present bar with a little bit different style or flavor, but conceptually it's all awesome muscular endurance. And if you keep up doing a couple of bar classes a week, in addition to your other exercises that you do, it's going to help you with your other exercises like running, biking, swimming, for example. But it's also going to help you get some nice, lean, long legs. So don't give up on it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I'm not going to play any music today, but you can feel free to put music on in the background. And of course, this will live on our Facebook page so you can refer back to it at any time. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with our warm-up. And I want you to come into what we call an athletic V. So basically what this means is your heels are touching and your toes are slightly turned out. So kind of duck feet would be another way to say it. So give me a nice big shoulder roll. And let's do that again, and allow your shoulder blades to drop down your back. So picture the back pockets of a pair of jeans. And that's the goal, is to get your shoulder blades like down towards those back pockets. Your arms can just be relaxed down at your sides. You're certainly welcome to have a hand on your chair or your counter or the back of your couch or what have you to give you that extra balance. So we're going to start here. And what we're going to do is just bend into the knees. So drop your hips straight down to the floor. Your knees open out to the sides over your feet. This is called a plie. All right, so when the instructor says first position, athletic V, duck feet, whatever they say, then you know what to do with your feet, and then you go into this plie. So we're going to plie and then rise. Plie, rise, plie, and just keep that going. Let's do 4 more. Now if your arm gets tired, you can always just lower it down to here. All right, now I'm going to have you plie one more time. This time, after you rise and straighten your legs, see if you can bring your heels off the floor just a little bit. This is called a releve. So some people, when they go into releve, they might go really high on their toes, but remember, this isn't a dance class, so this is really just about challenging your balance. And it's also going to engage your glutes and your hamstrings a little bit differently and then lower those heels down. So let's try that just a couple of times. So it's plie, straighten, releve, and down. Plie, straighten, releve, and down. Notice this move looks fairly innocent, but I don't know about you. I always want you to be mindful of where you're feeling these exercises. I can feel this in my butt. I can feel this in my inner thighs. All right, last one. So now what I'd like you to do is just take that arm off your chair or couch if you can. If not, you can start here. Reach up and just give me a little side bend. And let's do that again. 3, and one more. So we also want to warm up the upper body as much as the lower body. I'm going to switch sides. If you want that hand on the chair for balance, you're going to want to turn around to hold on to it to do that side bend. Or you can stand like this so that you can always have one hand on the bar at any given time or on the chair. So I'm going to reach up and over. And 2, and 3, one more, and 4. Awesome. So now I'm going to have you take a wide stance. Toes are still slightly turned out to the corners. And a mistake that a lot of people make is they think that they really have to force this turned out position. But again, it's not a ballet class, right? So it's just a slight angling of the feet. And this is called second position. You're getting ready to do what we call plie squats. Or a second position plie. So here, what you want to do is just once again, as you bend into the knees, your hips are going to naturally drop straight down. One of the things that a lot of people do is, as they come down, they feel like they need to go down farther than their body allows them to. They want to force it. So your flexibility will come over time. Don't worry about that. But when you come down, a lot of people stick their butts out like this. All right, that's a different type of movement, a different type of squat. And sometimes they even arch their backs, which isn't good. So I want you to imagine that you're up against a wall when you do these plie squats, and you want to drop straight down. The other thing I want to caution you about is allowing your knees to kind of curve in or collapse in. So you really want to think about your hips as a fan and open up your hips so that your knees go down over the tops of your feet. And if you're having trouble doing that, then you're going to want to bring that angle in a little bit more. All right, so this is our second position, plie squat. We're just going to open our arms to the side. And you're just going to bend into the knees and rise. 2, and rise. That's it. Now you should be able to wiggle all 10 toes. If you can't, because there's too much weight in your toes, then take a step wider. And then that should put the weight more into the center of your foot and your heel so you can wiggle your toes. Because guess what? That's where the work is happening. When you drive your heels down into the floor and you come up, squeeze your butt at the top, then that's where the work comes in. And we can add an arm here to make it a little bit more dynamic and interesting. All right. Now, from here, hold this plie and just give me a little pulse up, up, up. You're not bouncing, you're just doing the same movement you did, but you're just not going all the way up and you're not going all the way down. Hold it here, take that hand off the chair if you can, and I'm just going to have you twist, come center, twist, and center, twist, and twist. And rise. Awesome. So I'm already starting to feel a little warmer than I did when I first started, and that is what should be happening. Your heart might be going a little bit after doing that. So the intensity of this first class that I'm presenting to you, this would be a foundational class. So for people that are maybe just getting back to exercise, certainly it's their first barre class, in that case, or if you're just new to barre and just kind of learning the ropes. But there are many ways to increase the intensity of this format of exercise, and I'll show you that in a future as we move down the road. All right, there's another move here that we often use in our barre warm-ups. I'm going to have you take your outside leg, so if you're holding on to the back of a chair, it would be your outside leg. If you're not holding on to anything, it doesn't matter which foot you start with. So take one of your legs, you're going to point it out to the side. Now what I like to tell my participants is angle your leg so that it's pointing towards the corner. So this is my right leg, I'm going to point it towards the front right corner of the room, wherever I happen to be. And then I'm going to pretend there's an imaginary line here that's drawn on a diagonal, and then if I were to follow it with my leg, it's going to cause me to cross my leg behind me, like so. All right? Now, notice that I started in an athletic V, so there should be a little bit of a V with the feet. Point, draw the line, set the ball of your foot behind you, and then from here, just like we've been doing, bend both knees, which forces your hips to drop straight down. This is called a curtsy lunge. A curtsy lunge, all right? So we're just going to stay here, and once again, we're going to rise up and down, up and down. And this can be a very new and somewhat awkward feeling position at first. It can be very challenging. So I already feel this in a number of places. This is a wonderful type of squat. I feel it all in here because I have more weight in my front heel, and I feel it in my quad, right? Keep that going. Now, as you come on up, think about squeezing those inner thigh muscles together. Good. And relax. Shake it out. And we're going to do the other side. So if you have a chair, you can switch it to the other side. I'm just going to kind of wing it here so we don't take the time to move the chair. So you're going to point your other foot to the corner. Draw that imaginary line behind you. Now another way to do it would be to make a half circle. And then from here, drop straight down and come up. Two things, keep going, two things that I see. If somebody doesn't start in an athletic V, then this leg, sometimes it's even turned in a little bit, and it makes it very, very awkward, and you're not going to get the full benefit of the curtsy lunge. Not to mention you might torque your knee a little bit. So this one, you want this to be parallel or a little bit turned out. And then the other thing is if their back foot is too close to their front foot, it doesn't give you anywhere to go. So you end up here, and your knees are kind of stuck together. So create a little bit of space. And if you can't cross your leg too far behind you, then you can always just make it a little bit less of an angle. And then just drop straight down and up. So just a couple more. Assuming you've been going this whole time. One more. And relax. Woo, shake it out. Let's take an inhale. Through the nose, reach up nice and tall. And then as you exhale, keep your hands up, drop your shoulders. And now what I want you to do is put your feet in parallel. So instead of the athletic V, you're in parallel. And first, just bend your knees. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. First, and you can hold on to the chair if you need to, otherwise you're here. So first you're going to bend your knees. I'm going to do this so you can see my face. And then bend your knees as much as you can. And now stick your tailbone out towards the back wall and pull your shins back. So if I visualize pulling my shins back and then sticking my butt out, look what happens. Now I'm angled forward, and there's a diagonal line from the top of my head to my tailbone. This is preparing you to do a parallel squat. And then you continue to drop your bottom towards the floor, maintaining that angled position. So if you have your hands overhead, what you can do is you're here, you can bring them down and up, down and up. When you come to the top, come to full hip extension. So you want to rise up all the way, down and up, down and up, down. Come up one more time, leave the arms up, come into your squat. So this is, if you've ever taken a yoga class, chair pose, right? So hold your chair pose. You're basically just holding this position. I feel this in my quads. Shift your weight in. You should be able to wiggle your toes so your weight should be in your heels. Feel the engagement here. And then rise up. Woo. So grab a little bit of water. There's one last thing we need to do to warm up before we go to the floor part of our warm-up. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me better. Take your right leg and bring it behind you, like so, and then lower your heel and bend into your front leg. So it's a front-facing lunge. You should feel your calf stretching, lengthening. If you don't, here's the common mistake that people make. Their hip is externally rotated. Their toes are pointed out to the corner. So if you think about putting all 10 toes facing front, then you'll get that calf lengthening. So you're here, and all I want you to do is bend into the front knee and then straighten. Bend it, straighten it. Bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend and hold. Hold it here. Take one hand off the chair or bar. Give me a little side bend. Other hand off the bar, side bend, and switch sides. Left leg comes back, all 10 toes are facing front. All right, if you need to move closer to the chair, feel free. So then you're going to bend forward and straighten. Forward and straighten. 3 and 4. Let's just do 2 more. 1 more. Bend into that front knee and hold it. This time, take both hands off the chair if you can, or one, but you're going to twist and twist and twist and twist. Excellent. How do you feel so far? Feels good, right? Now, if you're used to go, 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 high intensity workouts, this is going to be different for you, but it's good for you for a number of reasons. It's going to help you with your go, go, go workouts. And if you're the type of person that needs to slow down sometimes, this is going to force you to do that. Not to say that every bar class is of a lower intensity. This one just happens to be. But I find that it allows me to really enjoy my movements and to be more mindful of my movements and what's happening in my body, what I'm feeling, where I'm feeling it. And it gives me an appreciation for the fact that I'm healthy and I'm able to move, and that I'm really giving myself some great self-love and self-care. So that's part of my passion for bar, and I just wanted to share that with you. What we're going to do now is go to the floor for just a couple of minutes. I'm going to take my towel and put it here on the floor. So come on down to all fours. And whenever you come on to all fours in bar, you want to make sure that your wrists are stacked underneath your shoulders and your hips are over your knees. So you don't want to be too far forward. You don't want to be here, okay? It's here. So that would be a different type of position. So what I want you to do is let's just do some cat-cow here. So inhale, look up, and then as you exhale, round your back. One more time. And then find the middle ground between those two extremes, and you will hopefully be in neutral spine. So as I tell my participants, think of yourself as a coffee table, and you have books and drinks on your back and on the top of your head. So if you were to throw off that straight line in any way, you're going to tip those drinks off the coffee table. So that's what we're striving for when we come into all fours. Now from here, what I'm going to have you do is get into a plank position. And I'm going to take the towel away just so I can demonstrate this a little bit better. So you're here. For me, the best thing to do is to take a step back with my knees. So I take one step back, and then the other knee goes to meet it, and then I drop my hips. Notice that my shoulders are still over my wrists. If you need to adjust a little, you can. But then also notice that I have somewhat of a diagonal line from the top of my head to my knees. And then from here, I just tuck my toes under, and I can either stay here in plank, I can come down to my forearms, or I can lift one knee at a time, and then voila, here we are. So we're just going to hold any version of plank that works for us for about 10 seconds, just to get us warmed up. All right, you can rock forward and back a little bit if you want. You can rock side to side. And then I'm going to have you bring one knee down, or both knees. All right, let me get my towel back here and get into position. There we go. Okay, so now you're in the perfect position to do 3/4 push-ups. You're welcome to do full push-ups if you'd like. We're going to do traditional push-up with our elbows going out to the sides. So you're going to come down for 2, up, 2. Now, if you can do just a half push-up, do it. You can also stand back up slowly and do these up against the wall. So give me a couple more of those. Let me just demonstrate what that looks like. So I could come up against the wall here, angle my body, might want to get a little closer, and do the push-ups here. You can do them up against the counter, and finish. So if you're still on the floor, come into child's pose for a moment. If you're not sure about child's pose, what you want to do is turn your knees out, your feet are touching, and then reach forward. So the goal here is to just sit back onto your heels. You may not be touching your heels depending on your flexibility. And just think about having a nice long spine. And just take a deep breath. And then slowly tuck those toes under, squat down, and roll up. Come on up nice and slow. Make sure you're not dizzy. Sometimes going from the floor to standing, the floor to standing makes us a little dizzy. All right, so you should be nice and warm, and some of you might be thinking, that was a really long warm-up. Well, usually our warm-ups in bar, let me see how much time I've taken. Oh, I don't even think I started my timer. Oops. Hold on. Oh, that's not working. All right. Normally the warm-up would take about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, depending on the length of the class in total. If it's a shorter class, you're going to want to make your warm-up a little more intense so that you can get warmed up a little bit more quickly. but you don't ever want to skip the warm-up. I would rather have you just do the warm-up as your workout than skip it, if that makes sense, if you're short on time. All right, so we're going to use some of those basic moves from the warm-up in our the main part of the workup, which we call our upper body and leg series, standing work. But you're going to make it a little bit more intense now, because now you're warm and you're ready for more intense work. So what I'm going to have you do is take that plie stance. I always have to pull up my spandex. I'm hoping this is a universal problem that you understand. So nice wide stance, toes are turned out slightly. You may or may not be holding on to something. Now this is going to get really good. All right, ready? So your arm can be out to the side, nice open chest, long spine. Think about engaging your core, like think about wrapping your abdominals around your spine. Like you've got a tight pair of jeans kind of idea, but you should still be able to breathe in and out. So we're going to do full range of motion plies here. You're going to come down and up, down. And we're going to do 8 of these. Yep. Remember, you should be able to wiggle those toes. Last one here. Now come into a little bit of a plie. And then, can you go down, what's your deepest point in the plie, and then come back up to that midpoint. So it's down and up, down and up. Not bending over at the hips. Remember that imaginary wall behind you. 4, 3, feeling it, 2, and 1. Now pulse up and up and up and up. And if your arms are tired, you can come to heart center. You can have your arms down, whatever works for you. Working those legs. Yep, 4 and 3 and 2. Hold it here. As you're holding, just bring your arm up. Little balance challenge. See if you can bring the other arm up. Bring it down. And now, watch my feet. I'm going to lift the inside foot, lower it. Outside foot. Inside. Outside. You've got 4. Spine is long. 2. 1. Last thing is just rock a little bit side to side. A little bit side to side. Good. 4 and 3 and 2 and rise. Woo! Did you feel that? Starting to make sense what we're trying to accomplish here, right? So good stuff. Love that. Next, what I'm going to have you do is some more curtsy lunges. Now, I should also mention that when you go to a barre class in a studio, they may offer you some pieces of equipment. So at some point in the future, I may add some hand weights and also what we call a bender ball, which looks like a Pilates ball, but it's a particular size, and it was created by one of the co-creators of the barre program that I was trained in, Barre Above. So I will show that to you at some point. But there can be quite a bit of upper body work combined with the lower body work. But we usually start with the lower body in a foundational class, so that's what I'm doing with you today. All right, so now what I'd like you to do is come to your athletic V here. Take your outside leg, point it forward. Arm can be out to the side. Actually, let's start with our arm down. I want you to lift your leg and lower it. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Try not to lift the hip, right? So whatever works for you in terms of lifting that leg without moving anything else. Now hold it here, And then fall forward. Push off and lower it. So lift it, fall forward, push off, and point it. Lift, fall, push, lower. Lift, fall, push, lower, lift, fall, push, and lower. Now we're going to do the same thing out to the side. Let's just start by lifting the leg, lifting the leg. Now in order to accomplish this, you have to pull up nice and tall through the standing leg. Spine is long. See if you can use this as a balance challenge. Your balance will improve over time. Now lift, fall out into a side lunge, push off, woo, not too far, point. Lift, side lunge, push and point. Lift, side lunge, push and point. Lift, side, push, and lift. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to turn this way so you can see me. You don't have to turn, but if you're holding on to something, it might be a good idea. So same concept, you're going to lift and lower, lift and lower. Now here, you're going to feel resistance from your glute and maybe in your lower back. So you may not be able to go very high with your leg. That's okay. I'm really starting to feel this in my standing leg. It's okay to lean forward slightly when you are extending your leg behind you so you don't pinch that lower back. All right, so lift. Lift it here, lower down, lift up, lift. Now notice that the front leg is bending, not the back leg. So coming into a lunge like we did during the warm-up, lift, lunge, lift, point, lift, lunge, lift, point, lift, lunge, lift, and point. Woo! That standing leg, what I'd like you to do, let's take a moment to stretch, which I usually do during bar class. Another thing I love about it is you don't have to wait to the end to take breaks and stretch. So take the ankle, if you can, of your standing leg that you just worked, cross it over your knee, and then bend down. Let me turn sideways again. Bend, like you're going to sit back into a chair, and you should feel a nice stretch here. Just hold that for the next 10 seconds. All right, here, and rise up. All right, so we're going to go the other way, and this time I am going to move my chair so you can see me and see how easy it is to do that. So you're in your athletic V, point your foot front, and simply start by lifting it. Lift. Engage your core here. Your core muscles are actually going to help you not only to stand tall and balance, but as you exhale, you're going to feel that core helping assist your leg muscles, bringing that leg up. All right? So this time we're going to lift and hold, fall forward into a lunge, push off, and point. Lift, fall forward, push off, and point. Lift, fall forward, push off, point. 4, 3, 2, and if I'm going too fast, just go ahead and go at your own pace and bring that leg to the side. Let me just move my water bottle. Bring that leg to the side. Lift, lift. Nice long spine. Lift, lift. 2 more. Hold the next one up and fall into a side lunge. Lift, point. And again, you don't really have to do anything with your arms. If you really just need to concentrate on your legs and your low body, that's what you need to do. And 3, 2, and 1. And then turn. Leg is behind you. You're at an angle. You're creating a diagonal line from the top of your head to your toe. Lift. 7, 6, 5, and 2, and 1. Hold it here. Fall back. Lift. Point. So that's why I hesitated on the other side, because your brain has to change gears, and instead of bending into the leg that you're falling into, you're bending into the front leg. So there's something to be said, for the brain work that you're doing in this class. Mind-body connection is also a beautiful thing. You're working on your coordination, your proprioception, being aware of your body in space. And relax. Woo! Take that standing leg, cross the ankle over your knee, and go ahead and ow, ow, ow. Give yourself a well-deserved stretch. Woo! Love that. Hold it, hold it, hold it. How are you feeling? Hope you're enjoying it so far. We are almost there. So what I think I'm going to do is one more standing leg exercise. If you are ready to go to the floor, go ahead and skip to that part. As long as your heart rate, I don't think your heart rate should be too high after that. If it is, take a little extra time to stretch in a standing position before you go to the floor. But let's revisit the curtsy lunge. So I'm here. I'm going to take my outside leg, point it out to the corner, just like we did in the warm-up, and then draw my diagonal line behind me. And then I'm going to sink my hips straight down. So as I go down, I'm going to add an arm here. So down and up, down and up, down. And just like we did with the plie squats, we're going to do 8 of these. So let's do 4 more, and 3, and 2. Hold the next one down, bring your arm in front, and you're going to come halfway up and then back down. So when you go back down, go to your deepest point of your curtsy lunge. Halfway up and down. Halfway up and down. What we're doing here is trying to fatigue the muscle groups. Yes, we're building the endurance of your muscles in doing so. All right, just like we did in the plie squat, you're going to pulse up, 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 up. That's it. Hang in there. Woo, you've got 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Static hold. Use this as an opportunity to balance. Open. Come on down. Now watch my front leg. Lift the heel and lower it. Lift the heel. So you're still in your curtsy lunge.